is about the future.
Hope is the reason why you don't give up.
Hope is having faith.
Hope means that you believe things will be good in the future.
Hope is so many things, and it's all around us. When I first thought about hope, I thought of change. When I started thinking about how hope inspires change, I found a couple stories that really show that, like the story of Woody Guthrie, JFK and LBJ, and the Oklahoma City bombing. These stories might not seem super hopeful, but let me tell you why they are. Woody Guthrie was a radical man for his time. He was born in 1912 and grew up to be someone who spoke out for the rights of all people and helped bring attention to those who needed a voice. He did this through his music. Woody wrote songs about the people who were struggling through the Dust Bowl, like himself. And when World War II started, he changed his focus to anti-fascism. He used his music to inspire change politically and socially. His songs had messages of resilience and encouraged people to keep pushing through difficult times that they were going through. Woody Guthrie wanted change during his time, but he still changes us today, a lot because he inspired other artists, people like Bob Dylan, who you probably know. Woody Guthrie's story is not a really happy one, although it is an optimistic story. But not all stories of hope appear optimistic. I hope we all know who JFK is. He was the 35th president of the United States. He was a very young president, with a wife and young children. He promised to change the U.S., but he was assassinated 2 years into his presidency. JFK did not get to fulfill his promises, but his vice president, Lyndon B. Johnson, did when he became president after JFK was killed. LBJ was known for getting things done. He continued JFK's plans for a great society and changed the courses of civil rights, healthcare, welfare, and education. LBJ was a very controversial president, but no one can deny that he did change the course of the future with all that he did throughout his life. When I first started thinking about stories of hope and the Oklahoma City bombing came up, I didn't think I would be able to find any hope in such an unthinkable tragedy. But it seems you can find hope in the worst of stories. On April 19th, 1995, a man named Timothy McVeigh bombed the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. The explosion caused 168 people to lose their lives, including 19 children who were at a daycare in the building. This terrible event changed Oklahoma and many parts of the world. Many people in Oklahoma came together to support each other, and that kindness became an important part of Oklahoman culture. People around the world also came to support Oklahoma in this time of tragedy, including Canada. The site of the bombing has become one of the most beautiful memorials I have seen. I got the privilege of visiting it and seeing the impact of the memorial, as well as getting a brief interview with a woman who works at the memorial and museum. She gave some amazing insight on the memorial and event itself.
So my first question is, how do you think hope is portrayed in the memorial and museum?
So the survivor tree that you see over my shoulder is a magnificent symbol of hope. And the symbolism behind that is that tree took so much of the full force of the destruction when the bomb exploded in Oklahoma City, that a living thing could be damaged so severely and take more trauma than anyone could imagine, but within just a couple of weeks show the tiniest little signs of healing and recovery.
How do you think that this memorial museum is acknowledged in the community?
This is really, in my opinion, the heart and soul of Oklahoma City.
Some of these stories are terrible and heartbreaking. You might not even want to think about them. But often, if you look deep into a dark story like any of the things I mentioned, you can find hope and change that emerged from the tragedies.